Hello.
Mario, ¿qué tal?
All right.
Chagigah Daf base.
Yes. I have a call. Hello. Bien, una preguntita.
No. No. Come. Sit down. Sit. Okay, guys. Hakol chayavim. Maybe you want to give this share. I wish I was capable of that. That would be nice.
My guys are online here in my Zoom. Let's continue. I have all day tomorrow. Let's continue this tomorrow.
Look forward.
Thank you, Mike. Enjoy. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. We're starting Masechta Chagigah tonight. Starting Masechta Chagigah. Perek Beis, Mishnah. Kol chayavin b're'iyah. Re'iyah is a din that you have to show up. You have to show your face in the Azara on Yontif. You have to bring a korban ola as part of that oilas re'iyah. Now, who is exempt from that? Chutz micheresh, a deaf mute, shoite v'katan. They're not bardas as well.
Actually, where's that? I put that away, that thing, the blue thing that you gave me. Put the staff.
Alan, can you mute your line? The tumtum is a male, well, we don't know what it is, whether it's a male or a female. there's a piece of skin overlying the genitalia, so we don't know what it is. And androgynous is
Hermaphrodite.
someone who has both male and female genital organs when you look at them externally. The medical definition of hermaphrodite is really someone who has both testicular and ovarian tissue. That's a true hermaphrodite. It's extremely rare.
So an androgynous is not a hermaphrodite? Or a
No.
tumtum?
No. A tumtum, again, I'm being very careful with my definitions. A tumtum is a child that's born or an adult who hasn't had surgery, where there's a piece of tissue covering where the genitalia should be. So you don't know whether it's a male or a female. There are diseases like that. It's called persistent cloaca. And today you reveal what it is. Okay. In the times of Chazal, they didn't have that technology. They couldn't do an ultrasound. They couldn't know what it is. Now, a halachic androgynous is someone when you look and it looks like they have a vagina and a penis. Now, that can occur in what's called female pseudohermaphroditism. These are females, XX, chromosomally female. They have uterus, they have ovary. But for example, they have a disorder of their estrogen and testosterone metabolism, where they have hypertestosteronism. So they have a vagina, but the clitoris grows, so it looks like a penis. So there's surgery that can be done where you do a clitoromegaly. You do a clitoroplasty. You make the clitoris smaller, and then those are normal females. You give them estrogen. You give them a medicine to prevent the hypertestosteronism. Did I shock Kenny with my descriptions? No. I was wondering, Kenny, if I shocked you with my descriptions. I can't hear you.
No, I had him on mute. I just had to let the dog out. It was so interesting.
Okay.
I'm listening though, even when I was letting the dog out.
So a female.
You come across these people as a urologist? Do they go to you?
Well, I saw them a lot during training at UCLA.
So is it a prevalent thing?
No, very rare, very rare. These are identified in the neonatal nursery, and then they operate.
So how do you know if the person should be a boy or a girl?
I just explained. The most common form is called female pseudohermaphroditism. These are females, XX chromosomally.
Right, with a lot of testosterone.
They have a uterus, they have an ovary. So you give them a medicine that blocks the production of testosterone, and they grow up as normal women. You shorten the clitoris so it looks normal. They have children and they live normally. So you don't see them because they're treated as children, as neonates, as infants. And then they're brought up as females. Now, there are some that are more complicated than that, where they have both genitalia and it's not so clear cut.
Would you do I don't mean to take too much time of this year here. My last question is, would you do a chromosomal test to see if they're XX or XY to know which way to go?
That's the first step.
Uh-huh.
First step is chromosomal test. Second test is a pelvic ultrasound, which shows do they have testes or do they have a uterus. So we evaluate them immediately in the neonatal ICU in the first day of life. You know exactly what the story is. This is now, 30 years ago, it was more complicated. There were other tests that we did, but now it's easier to identify this. Back to the Mishnah. Noshim are potter because it says kol zechurcha, all males. Va'avodim she'ena meshuchrorim, an eved that's been not free is an eved kanani. He's potter from mitzvahs. A chiger, potter from mitzvahs that are tied to time. Chiger, somebody who's lame, cannot walk and make aliyah l'regel. V'asuma, the blind. V'chayla, sick. He has a p'tur. V'azoke, he's too old. Mishena yochel alis paraglav, somebody who can't walk with his feet. Now, Ezel cotton. Kol shena yochel lirkov al k'tefav shalavi v'lalis b'shalayim ha'arbayis. if he cannot have enough wherewithal to sit on the shoulders of his father, when the father walks to Yerushalayim, then he's below that, he's a cotton. They have to be able to walk and hold the father's hand, so they have to be even older. Has to do with regel. Now, the korban oilas hariyah has to be shtei kesef, has to be bought of a value of shtei kesef. Chagigah mo kesef, which is less, half of that. That's the korban chagigah, which we're going to learn what that is. It's a shlomim that each yachid is supposed to bring on yontif, and you ate of your meals from the korban chagigah. Just the opposite. So when the Mishnah says hakol, it's lasui mai. What does it come to include? Lasui misha chetzia of eved chetzia ben chorin. Somebody who's half eved and half free is also poter min hariyah. Oh, because he has half of his body as a ben chorin, so that part is chayiv in aliyah l'regel, so he has to go up. He holds that no, half eved, half ben chorin is potter. We'll see why. So he needs another. The hakol has to include something else. Somebody who couldn't walk on the first day of Yom Tov, but he got healed, and he can walk on the second day. Now, if you didn't bring your Chagig on the first day, and you can bring it on the second day, because the second is Tashlumim L'Rishon, and if you didn't bring it on the second day, you could bring it on the third day, because the third is Tashlumim to the second. So that works. Because we don't care that he was potter on the first day, as long as it was chayiv on the second day, the third day is tashlumim on the second day, he's chayiv. But according to Manda Omar, that says, when you bring the korban chagigah on day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's all tashlumim of the first day. Well, the guy was potter on the first day, so there's no tashlumim. So then what do you have a call for? To include someone blind in one eye, and he's chayiv in re'iyah, which is not udelokai tana, which is not like the following Tanya, the Tanya. Yochanan ben Davai oimer mishum Rav Yehuda, suma b'achas meinav poter min re'iyah. Shenemar yireh yeroeh, you shall see the way you shall be seen. Kederch shabal lirois, the way a person comes to see, kach ba liros, so he shall be seen by Hashem. Ma liros b'shtei, most people come and they're seeing with two eyes, af liros b'shtei. So Hashem wants to see people with two eyes. Other people say the hakol is to include, like we said before, chetzev eved v'chetzev ben chorin. Now, what about Ravina who says they're potter? Like kasha, depends. There's a history in this halacha. Kan kamishna rishona, kan kamishna achroina. This not. Somebody's an eved who's owned by two masters. One of the masters freed him. So that's an eved that's half free, half meshubed. Now, how does it work? So, oivid is rabo yomecha. Besatzma yomecha div Beis Hillel. Beis Hillel says fine. One day he works for the master. The other day he works independently. Omer lahem Beis Shammai. Takantem es rabo. You took care of the master, but besatzma lo tikantem. But the guy himself, you didn't give him a solution. Lisa shifcha in a yochel. He can't marry a shifcha because half of him is ben chorin. He can't marry a bas chorin in a yochel because half of him is an eved. Li botel from pruervu, v'haloi li nivra oilam, el priya revia. The world was created for pruervu. Shenever lo soiv v'ala sheves yitzara. Ella, says Beis Shammai, if they tikuna oilam koifenes rabbi voice or soy ben chorin. you force the master who owns him to free him. Now, let's say the debt is still $500. Okay, koisef lo shtar chatzi dama. They write a star that he has to pay it back, the $500. But now he's a ben chayr, now he can marry whoever he wants. The chazar Beis Hillel is Kedavar Beis Shammai, and Beis Hillel agreed to Beis Shammai. So Ravina's words are like the last Mishnah, like Beis Hillel when they eventually agreed to Beis Shammai, that the Baal has to free him, but he's not freed completely yet. So then he's potter min hariyah. Mishnah says chutz mi cheresh shoyte v'katan. Ktoni cheresh dumya de shoyte v'katan. Cheresh has to be similar to a mishigan or a cotton who have no das. Ma shoyte v'katan de lav neideya, av cheresh de lav bardeya. The komash malon, kedis not, and it's like the following Mishnah. Cheresh shedibur chachamim b'chol makom. Whenever the chachamim talk about a cheresh, it's she'ena shomea ve'ena medaber. It's a deaf mute. He can't hear, he can't speak. Such a person doesn't have das. Ha medaber ve'ena shomea, or shomea ve'ena medaber chayiv. But someone who speaks but doesn't hear, or he hears but doesn't speak, they have das, and therefore they're chayiv. And tanina law, we learn like this. The Torah. Ha medaber ve'ena shomea. Someone who speaks but doesn't hear, zeh cheresh. That's a cheresh. Shomea ve'ena medaber. If he can hear but not speak, zeh ileim. In these cases, zeh v'zeh harein kepichkin l'chol divreim. These are regular humans. They have no lack in deya. Umimai de medaber ve'ena shomea zeh cheresh. Now, so where did you get off to say that a medaber ve'ena shomea zeh cheresh? And Shomea ve'ena medaber zehu ileim, and someone who hears but doesn't speak is an ileim. Dichsiv, v'ani kecheresh loy eshma. I'm a cheresh, I can't hear. Uchi ileim lo yiftach piv. This is a pasuk in Tehillim. So that's the raya. The boy say mekdamri inshi. The word ileim is a abbreviation of ishtakel milule. His words have been taken away. Okay. If you can speak and can't hear, or you can hear but can't speak, those are chayiv. There's a brayso that says they're potter. There are words missing. Everybody's chayiv in oilas re'iyah and shalmei simcha korban chagigah. Chutz micheresh hamedaber ve'ena shomea. Except for a person who can speak but can't hear, or a person who can hear but can't speak, they are potter from oilas re'iyah. But those two individuals are chayiv in chagigah. But a real deaf mute, the shoyte v'katan potter, af min hasimcha and min re'iyah. They're potter from all mitzvahs because they're loved bardeya. Tana ma'achi akol chayav b'riyah v'simcha. Chutz michesh ha'medaber v'en shomea shomea v'en ha'medaber shepatur min ha'riyah v'afal pi shepatur min ha'riyah chayav b'simcha. And we'll stop here. Tomorrow.
What is the simcha? What is the simcha? What is the simcha?
Shalmei simcha. It's the korban chagigah. The korban chagigah. Tomorrow we'll learn at 8:00.